What is going on, guys? Johnny on the track back with another video. Little late with this video. I apologize. A lot of stuff going on right now in my life. So it's not easy all the time to get these things on time. Usually it's Tuesday nights. This week it's Friday afternoon. It is what it is. The bets will be out. I want to share them with you guys. So let's do it. Atlanta this week. Oh, real quick. Next weekend is the big weekend. I'll be at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Breaking news, I'll be on. One of the cars will be running with Live Fast and BJ McLeod. So that'll be fun. We'll get some cool access to everything in New Hampshire. So excited about that. Excited to get back there. That's my home track. Hit a huge bet with Bell last year. Really excited this, next weekend now to run it back. I've got really, really good bets in mind, feeling super confident about that race. But again, that's not this weekend. That's the weekend after. This weekend is Atlanta. So with that, let's get right into it real quick. We remember what happened last lap pass. We had Brad Keselowski. Joey Logano passed him on the last lap and won that thing. It was a clean pass. It was a really good finish, but upsetting. So I think we can get our revenge here. Round 2 at Atlanta. Always super speedways, bet small to win big. That's kind of how I always say this. And on top of that, the way I do super speedways, I just kind of list out, a group of names, and whatever you feel like. If it's a top 10 bet for you, if it's a top 5 bet for you, maybe it's a winner bet. Whatever you feel comfortable with. That's kind of how I run super speedways. So yeah, we'll get right into it. First guy that I like this weekend, this Sunday night, Ryan Blaney. He's been top 10 in all super speedways so far this year. He's coming off 3 30th or worse finishes. So not really a good little stretch here, to start the summer for Ryan Blaney. But like I said, he's got top 10 finishes in all 3 of these super speedways this year. So I do feel like if this is a good track for him to rebound at, right? And I always feel like Ryan Blaney is a guy that puts himself in positions at these super speedways to just be there to have a chance to win, whether he's pushing somebody, whether he's out front. He just seems to always be right around, the top 6 at the end there. So Ryan Blaney, I like that bet. Austin Dillon, to me, I like him here. Pressure is on for Austin Dillon what am I trying to say here? To make some noise. Sorry, I'm reading here from this script. I shouldn't be reading. I know this stuff. Pressure is on, though, for him to make some noise, shut the haters up. It's been the Kyle Busch show at RCR this year. He had a good shot last weekend at the street course there to at least lead some laps at the end. And he was pushing a little too hard. He wrecked, and SVG ended up beating Justin Haley. But I didn't mind that mindset there from Austin Dillon. I could tell he was trying to win. He was hungry to win. He was not going to, be satisfied with a second place. He wanted to win his way into the playoffs. So I respect that. I expect driving hard. I didn't mind it. But at some point, AD has to step up and show people that, there's a reason he has this ride other than, his grandfather being Richard Childress, right? There needs to be another, he's just got to show us that he deserves that ride. And I think a lot of people, rightfully so, sometimes are saying he doesn't deserve that ride, right? He's in it just because. I think this win would go a long way for Austin Dillon's career. I really do. I think if he wins here, and builds a little momentum going into the playoffs, I think you might have something there. That team, I should say not the 3 team, but RCR overall looks good this year. They really do. I mean, the addition of Kyle Busch has been a huge factor for RCR and their championship hopes. So I like Austin Dillon here. I think he can shut these people up, be up front when it counts, and maybe get this thing done. Bubba Wallace, another name. Right now, he's barely in the playoffs. He's barely in the playoffs. Preseason bet for me was Bubba Wallace over a half win. I had Bubba Wallace in my playoffs. Um, I thought it would be by win. I really did. And at this point, kind of winding down the end of the regular season here, not many races left. At some point, I feel like Bubba Wallace is going to get one to go. Whether it's Daytona at the end, it's I should say possibly this weekend at Atlanta. So I think there's a lot here for Bubba Wallace. I think there's a lot riding on him to get into the playoffs and win his way into the playoffs. I think he would be frustrated if he just points his way. I know it would be a big step, in the right direction for him in his career. But to me, you got to win yourself into the playoffs, Bubba Wallace. And I think this is a good time for him to get it done. Another name, Denny Hamlin. I think overall, Denny has been, a lot better than the results have showed. He had a good run in Atlanta earlier this year, and I just think he's going to have a good run this Sunday in Atlanta. Two more quick names we'll run through. Corey LaJoie. I mean, at this point, I think when, we're at Atlanta, you've got to bring up the name Corey LaJoie. The results speak for themselves. He had a really good run here earlier this spring and had a great run. What was that in the playoffs last year, I believe, right? Or whatever the second Atlanta race was, and almost won that thing. I mean, he was very close, if not for that late block by Chase Elliott. So Corey LaJoie, a name you have to bring up. I mean, top 10 at the least. And then you go from there. And then Eric Almirola. If you look at the numbers, he's had a significantly higher average running position than finishing position at these super speedways this year. Ford's been good. They've been really good at the super speedways. They've been fast. Almirola's been fast. He's led a lot of laps. He won a stage earlier this year at Talladega. So, again, he's one of those guys where you just feel like, especially we don't know much about his future at this point, but you feel like, I mean, this is a good shot for a guy that's had a bad season. And that's kind of how I feel about Austin Dillon right now. It's two guys that have not had the seasons they'd like to have, that have a really good shot and have showed that they could win a race like this. So those are the big names. I'm going to go through two real quick other bets I have. So I love the prop bet right now. It's on Rhode Island Sportsbook. I'm not sure what it's like on FanDuel or DraftKings, but it's a prop bet of over 20 and a half cars finishing on the lead lap. 23 cars finished on the lead lap in the spring, and the finish was clean. So I don't know. I mean, like 20 and a half and 23 finished with a clean finish. Like, I feel like that's a good bet. I feel like that's a really safe bet. 20 and a half on the lead lap is not that many cars. I wouldn't be surprised if we get around 25 to 26 finishing on the lead lap. And remember, even if there are some cautions at the end where people spin, or maybe you take out one or two cars, a lot of those guys are going to try to get back out there and just run the lap to beat some of the other guys that may have been taken out. And that could also guys that if there's a lot of like late spins at the end, that just brings somebody who's a lap down back in contention on the lead lap. So we got to remember that as well. And then I've got a matchup parlay. It's four ways here. So I've got Ryan Preece over Noah Gragson. I've got Bubba Wallace over Ty Gibbs. I've got Eric Almirola over Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And I've got Corey LaJoie over Daniel Suarez. Preece is another guy that has had a significantly higher average running position than his finishing position, both this year in total, but definitely at these super speedways. Bubba, I like Bubba. I like Bubba this week a lot. I think he's going to have a better run than Ty Gibbs. Almirola, I just mentioned his name. Stenhouse, I feel like already had his day at a super speedway. That was the Daytona 500. I don't know, but I don't see Stenhouse having another really good run. I think he's one of those guys that could wreck early. I mean, we've seen that in the past with Stenhouse. And then LaJoie over Suarez. I mean, I think this could go either way. I feel like Suarez is one of those guys where you wouldn't be surprised if he just somehow finds his way in the top three at the end. But the history here for LaJoie, I mean, it speaks for itself. So Preece over Gragson, Bubba over Ty Gibbs, Eric Almirola over Stenhouse, and LaJoie over Suarez. That's plus 1125. I don't know where exactly else you can find that. I have that on Rhode Island Sportsbook, but I like the name Priest. I like the name Bubba. I like the name Almirola, and I like the name Corey LaJoy. So those four guys, maybe, you take three, or they might be, matched up against somebody different on another book. But here, I guess, well, in that case, you could just take them against whoever they're lined up against. But here on Rhode Island Sportsbook, I think that's a very, very good matchup parlay that I'm feeling pretty comfortable about, even with the kind of crazy odds there. But I don't know. Gregson, haven't seen enough out of him this year at all. He's had a terrible season. Ty Gibbs is a rookie. Rookies oftentimes kind of get used up at super speedways. Stenhouse, like I said, had his day. And Daniel Suarez, I mean, I think he'll run all right. But I see LaJoy kind of running around that 5th to 7th position and finishing around there at the end. So those are the bets. Let me say it again: Ryan Blaney, Austin Dillon, Bubba Wallace, Eric Almirola, Corey LaJoy, Denny Hamlin. The prop bet of over 20.5 cars finishing on the lead lap, and the matchup parlay. One more time: Priest over Gregson, Bubba over Ty Gibbs, Almirola over Stenhouse, and LaJoy over Suarez. Bang. There we go. Let's have a weekend. Super speedways are always fun to watch. This is a night race, which will make it even more interesting. I think the track will change quite a bit. I think weather, a shortened race could play into this. So lot here. Absolutely. And of course, like I said, next Sunday, we've got New Hampshire, which I'm very excited about. Should be making some good content for that. And yeah, we'll see what comes of it. So thanks guys for watching. Definitely like this video. Apologize for it being a little bit late. Want to hear what you guys think. Definitely put your thoughts in the comments. And if you're a first time viewer, first time listener, definitely subscribe for more content. All right, let's have a weekend.